Hey guys, I thought I'd give you some revision tips and exam preparation tips since I'm currently preparing for my exams and I'm in the middle of them actually, and I'm in my final year of university, so I think I'm in a good place to give revision tips. Now I study law, so that's quite a fact-heavy subject where a lot of memorization is required on top of like general theory. So these tips will be applicable to those of you studying subjects similar to that, such as certain sciences like biology, not so much physics and chemistry, I'm not sure, like history, maybe history of art, just subjects that, or economics even, subjects that have some theory but you also need to know a lot of facts. So if you're studying something like maths, that will probably be a completely different way of learning because it's more about the methods and just practicing the equations over and over again. That's how I studied for maths back before university. Anyway, I'll get started on my tips. So I personally find it easier to learn general theories and background and different arguments because once I understand them, they just stick around in my head and I don't really have to spend much time learning them. But when it comes to hard facts, like in my case I have to learn loads of cases, I have to set up some kind of system that helps me to memorize things more efficiently. So, a lot of the time one subject, like one exam that I'll have to do, will require me to memorize like 100 case names and a few facts for each case and the general point of each case. So what I like to do is, if I have, say, lecture notes from one topic within a subject, I'll condense those notes and make them much more concise, just include the main points, like the most important points, and I'll write concise notes, and then so I'll write them out by hand because that helps you memorize. Like when you write things, it enforces your memory on what you're writing. And after that, I'll highlight certain things like the names of different reports that I need to know, like subheadings like informal transfers or disputes or problems, issues, reform and stuff like that. And I'll highlight certain sections within statutes that I'll need to know, or I'll highlight case names. And normally I'll highlight the case names in a certain color, say green, and those statutes in pink, and then general subject like titles in like orange, for example. So everything is really categorical and it's just easier to look over because you know like what's what. And so after I have these concise notes, I'll read it over a few times and then I'll cover it and try to write out as much as I remember on that whole topic on a blank sheet of paper. And I'll go back over my notes to see what I left out, and then those things I've left out, I'll write them repeatedly until it's sort of drilled into my head. So once I've done that, once I have these concise notes, so for example here I have just 4 pages, single-sided, 4 pages of notes on one topic, which happens to be surrogacy, because this is for medical law. So once I have like 4 pages of notes, I'll maybe condense that even further to include literally just like major headings, and then while I'm writing the major headings from memory, I'll run through everything I need to know about each title that I've written out. I'll just run over what I need to know about everything within that topic in my head. I think that also helps because it saves time. You don't have to write out every single thing out, and it'll actually help you memorize it even further. So that's a great way of learning, and I'll do that over and over again until I feel confident enough to let a friend test me. So I'll give them my concise notes and I'll just get them to hold it for me, and I'll just recite everything I remember in my head in order of how I wrote out the notes, and then I'll get them to tell me whenever I get something wrong, and then that will let me know like what I need more practice on. So once you've done that topic, say you have 4 topics you need to know within one exam, I would study each topic separately, obviously. So I would memorize each subject one by one, and then after that I'll test myself on the entire, like all the content I need to know in that one exam. I'll just, either get someone to test you all the content, or you can just write out everything that you've learned. So I find that that is a good way of studying. And aside from the actual like technique of learning things, I would also say that try not to stress out too much, because that really affects your brain's ability to retain information. And also, eat well, sleep well, the usual, healthy things that you should keep in mind. Don't overload your study the night before the exam, because you'll just stress yourself out. Like there comes a certain point where there's not much more revision you can do to increase the amount of information that you've learned. So I'd say the night before your exam, make sure you get enough sleep, and then if you can and if you want to, I would wake up a bit earlier before the exam, just so I have some time to go over everything again and to test myself all over again. So I feel that that makes me more confident for the exam, just in case I've forgotten something overnight. So that's what I do. And when you get to the exam, don't be bothered to wear something fashionable or uncomfortable. Just go in the most comfortable clothes you have. Sometimes I go in the clothes that I study in. Like I'll wear the same jacket or sweater because it just makes me feel more comfortable and almost like I'm at home taking the exam. So I feel like it makes me feel more relaxed. So yeah, just repetition is the key here to memorizing things, because that's how your brain like forms connections in your brain, and that's how memories are formed in your brain. So yeah, repetition is key. Don't get frustrated with yourself if you're taking longer than usual to memorize something. Just persevere. If you need to, take breaks. I like to study in chunks, say an hour and a half or 2 hours at a time. I'll take a short break and then I'll continue, because that just make sure that you don't tire yourself out too much. So don't stress, try your best. Just remember that all you can ever do is try your best, and hope that it goes well. If you've studied as much as you could and you've done as well as you could have done, there's no need to stress about it. And yeah, stay healthy, and it's really good to get someone to test you, and be comfortable in your exam. And once the exam's over, don't worry about it anymore. There's nothing you can do about it. Just concentrate on the next subject. Okay, I hope that was helpful to all of you guys who are studying for exams right now. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys soon. I'm going back to my studies. Bye.